Do not move to Florida. I would never move to Florida. If I still lived there, I would be dead by now. Florida was the worst move we made in our lives. I'm happy y'all are leaving. I'd rather be homeless living in a better state than living in Florida. Wow. These are just some of the comments left on my last video titled, "We regret moving to Florida." And I gotta tell you something. This was a shock and totally unexpected. But listen to me when I tell you this. No way we're leaving. How could you not love living in Florida? How could you not love living in Florida? So obviously we need to address the elephant in the room, and that's if you're going to move and relocate to live in Florida, you have to have a place to stay. Now your options can include renting an apartment or renting a house or even renting a condo if you wanted to, or buying and investing in real estate, either with creative financing, a traditional conventional mortgage, or by paying all cash. And I guess there's another option of living full-time in an RV, but for the most part, I think when people consider moving to Florida, they pretty much plan on their residence being permanently fixed and more likely without wheels and or an engine or a motor. However, houseboat living, that could be an option. That could be an option too, as I've heard many people consider this and are actually doing it. But there aren't many marinas that are still offering permanent live aboard applications to legally and permanently reside on a boat while docked at a marina. And granted, in certain locations, living aboard is either not allowed or subject to extensive waiting lists. Additionally, you've got the mooring fees for liveaboards, which tend to be higher, and choosing to make your boat your main home can lead to increased insurance premiums. Ouch. We already know how tough that is. But I guess you could just anchor in the open waters with relatively no restrictions, but you lack shore power and water hookups, plus you better hightail it out of there when the next hurricane blows through. Nevertheless, housing and housing affordability is a major consideration for relocating anywhere, really. Doesn't matter if it's Florida or New York or California. And the Sunshine State is no exception, folks. So affordable housing in Florida, it's not only a topic that pushes for compassion, it also pushes for construction. And it's also a topic that takes hold of stereotypes and some common misconceptions. Some of these common misconceptions include the idea that affordable housing lowers property values. And contrary to this belief, research shows that affordable housing does not adversely affect neighborhood real estate markets. And Also, the affordable housing looks cheap, whereas modern affordable housing is held to the same construction standards as market rate projects, dispelling the notion that it looks cheap or is of low quality. Additionally, affordable housing raises taxes, common misconception, whereas affordable housing can actually reduce the need for tax-funded support systems by providing systems and providing stability, enhancing education, and improving economic outcomes for residents. Additionally, affordable housing increases crime, which isn't entirely true, as there is no evidence to support the assumption that affordable housing leads to higher crime rates, and residents of affordable housing desire safe living environments just like everyone else. Now, affordable housing, another one is that it's a government handout. Now, I know a lot of folks are not thrilled by that terminology, but hear me out, because essentially the eligibility for affordable housing subsidies is strict, targeting those in greatest need. Affordable housing is essentially viewed as an investment in the community rather than a handout. And affordable housing only benefits the poor, and that isn't always the case. Another common misconception, as a wide range of individuals and groups, including employers, seniors, immigrants, entry-level workers, emergency responders, military personnel, and teachers, all can and do benefit from affordable housing. And yesterday we were actually out, we were getting our eye exams, we're getting new glasses. And I actually had somebody tell me that worked for Lens Crafters, and she says, she wished that they would take these old malls and convert them into affordable housing, like apartments and stuff like that. Now, granted, they would be like these little mini 15-minute cities, but at least it would be an affordable living option for some, right? And when you're limited on space and available land, you got to get creative. Because what's the old saying? Land, they're not making any more of it. And if anything, we may be losing some of it if we see California happen to break off and fall into the Pacific Ocean, or perhaps the tinfoil hat wearers' claims coming true of Florida soon to be underwater entirely. But there are some South Florida leaders who are advocating for state funding to build more apartments to address the region's affordable housing crisis. With limited land available, mayors and county officials from the South Florida Regional Planning Council, including representatives from Broward, Miami-Dade, Monroe, and Palm Beach counties, are urging state legislators to focus on apartment buildings instead of single-family home ownership, which is a little concerning, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. These counties have already dedicated substantial budget allocations for affordable housing projects, and the high cost of living in South Florida is highlighted by the fact that the median monthly rent is $2,511, ranking 7th highest in the U.S. overall, and about 44% of Monroe County residents spend 30% or more of their income on housing. Crazy. So officials are seeking amendments to the State Housing Initiative's partnership program to allow more funding for multifamily homes rather than single-family houses. And currently, the program requires at least 65% of funds to go towards home ownership. And the proposed change would allow a 50-50 split between funding for single-family homes and multifamily buildings like apartments. Now, this approach is particularly relevant to South Florida due to its unique land constraints. And the region's emphasis on building upwards is seen as the only viable option due to the scarcity of available land. And they said that the strategy aligns with the recent increase in multifamily structures and reflects the need for higher density housing solutions, and how this collective push by county leaders aims to influence state policy, leveraging their combined population, which accounts for nearly 28% of Florida's total, to advocate for more effective affordable housing solutions. Which honestly is all fine and good, but what about the folks who want to own instead of just rent? Because renting is essentially pretty much the equivalent to just flushing your money down the toilet. Every month, every single month you pay your landlord, you're throwing money down the drain, right? Well, at least that's what I've always been told, and I read it in the comment section on my videos. But I guess if you don't own a home now and you happen to live in Florida or are thinking about moving to Florida and you want to live in Florida, then, well, I guess you're pretty much just screwed, right? Because the Florida home insurance affordable housing bills were just rejected in special session. So during a recent special session here in Florida, several bills aimed at addressing issues like home insurance costs, affordable housing, and Medicaid expansion were rejected. Key points from the session include the governor's agenda, where Florida Governor Ron DeSantis called the special session primarily to consider sanctions against Iran for its support of Hamas in response to an attack on Israel. Now, the session also addressed property tax breaks, aid for rural communities affected by Hurricane Idalia, funding for the My Florida Safe Home Hardening Program, and expanding the state voucher program for children with disabilities. The Democratic proposals rejected by the Republican-controlled House rejected several bills proposed by Democrats, and these included the HB 17C, which was a bill to expand Medicaid and Florida kid care programs, which also aimed to waive premiums for certain enrollees based on family income and revised eligibility for Medicaid payments. The bill would have prevented Medicaid disenrollment for nearly 183,000 Floridians. Now, HB 21C proposed the creation of the Department of Housing and Tenant Rights, including changes to provisions related to residential tenancies, landlords, and tenants. HB 23C related to private school safety, including training for school employees to be certified as school guardians and provisions for carrying concealed weapons. HB 29C aimed at revising reporting requirements for insurers, particularly regarding payments to affiliates. And with a little bit of political context here, Democrats criticized the session as a political maneuver by DeSantis, potentially to support his presidential ambitions. Now, House Minority Leader Fentrice Driscoll emphasized the state's failure to address several urgent crises facing Floridians. And essentially, what it all boils down to is the rejection of these bills reflects ongoing political tensions in Florida and the challenges in addressing significant issues like affordable housing and health care. But if it isn't one thing, it's another, right? So for some, Florida weather is the deciding factor too. And people are asking themselves the same question: should I stay or should I go? But whether it be moving to or instead leaving because hot and humid is a no for you, dog, or they hate the occasional liquid lunch and just aren't about that life. So apparently it's supposed to be raining for like the foreseeable future. And that sucks. They left their windows down. That's unfortunate. Gonna have to dry that. But yeah, it's kind of like a continuation of my video yesterday, but I don't have my microphone hooked up, so I'm not worried about any electrical malfunctions here due to the intrusion of water into any of the USB ports or anything like that. But we are here at my favorite place. Don't ask me why again. I want to show you guys something I saw yesterday. Or not yesterday, the day before. Not yesterday, not the day before. I saw it the other day. And I want you guys to take a look at this here. Take a look. Mortgage rates dropped dramatically, seeing a rise in mortgage applications, but you can also tell that it's having a huge impact on the housing market, whereas some homeowners or future homeowners may not need to borrow money from the bank to build their homes. They're paying cash. But regardless, we're seeing the economy moving, changing in front of our eyes as we speak. And these are probably some of the reasons why folks like Jamie Dimon are pulling out massive amounts of cash out of the bank, selling stocks, getting ready to reinvest into the market, into a different, possibly likely more viable asset class that's going to see increased profits for them over the next few months. So we're on the lookout for some sort of tea kettle.
They don't have what I need here either.
Oh, you looked in the other section too? Because you don't want one of these.
I don't want what I've already got.
Even though stainless steel, or at least they say it's stainless steel, they still rust on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want like a ceramic one?
I don't know. I know it. I'll know it when I see it.
Bama time. Are we done here?
2 seconds. Sprite cranberries out. It's the winter holiday, whatever.
Is that LeBron's?
Yeah.
All right. Thankfully, that's over. Oh. Now we moved on to a light drizzle. We can get out of here. No, it's still raining or drizzling. You see this car left their windows open?
Oh.
Yeah. They're gonna regret.
Driving with your windows down in the rain.
They're gonna regret that decision.
Well, they ain't got no windows either, so maybe they have their windows.
No windows, no back seat. They're slowly rebuilding it from salvage. But there's a lot of cars getting repoed and ending up at the salvage auction. So maybe that's what they're doing. Florida is still a great place to live, move to, and invest. And as we see, folks are still building new homes to live in or rent out every single day. And it's a great way to generate passive income. And so that's what we've been working so hard to build, passive income. And by investing for monthly income, people can achieve sizable deposits through various passive income streams, each with different levels of involvement and risk. And some of the key methods include dividend stocks. So investing in stocks that pay dividends, especially in dividend aristocrats, which are stocks with a history of increasing dividends for over 25 years or more. And there's a link down in the description to get free stocks too. So click the link to Moo and get started. Also, investing in index funds, as these mutual funds mimic a stock market index and can provide steady dividend income with the potential for capital appreciation, and they're typically more cost effective due to their lower expense ratios. Another on the list includes rental properties, real estate, of course. Buying rental properties can offer long-term income and are a hedge against inflation, though they require maintaining occupancy for consistent income, which then, in my opinion, you'd have to weigh the options of short-term versus long-term. Are you looking for a 6 to 12 to 18 to 24 month lease tenant, or do you want to prop your property down on the list of others to compete on Airbnb and VRBO? Real estate investment trusts, or REITs, as these entities own investment properties and pay dividends, offering real estate exposure without the responsibility of direct ownership. And real estate crowdfunding, where investing in property through crowdfunding platforms allows pooling of funds with other investors for property investments. Now, this is an amazing way to get invested and get started when you don't have a ton of capital, but you want to get a piece, thus also allowing for the payment of dividends during the investment term. Now, we've also got fixed income securities such as bonds, money market funds, and CDs, and these offer monthly interest or dividends with generally lower risk. Another option on the list is peer-to-peer lending and investing in loans to individuals or businesses through these P2P platforms, earning income from interest. But I gotta warn you guys, it carries extreme risk due to borrower default, which we are likely to see happening more and more here in the future as incomes are challenged and bankruptcies increase and cost of living continues to rise. So that may be one that I would probably steer myself away from. Now, art and fine wine investments are growing in popularity, with fractional investments in artwork or wine through online platforms can diversify a portfolio while generating income at the same time. Additionally, annuities is one we don't talk about much often, but they're basically like insurance contracts that provide monthly payments beginning at a later date. And these are useful for creating retirement income, but can be expensive due to the fees that are associated with them. And the approach to investing can be very simple for monthly income. I mean, it will vary, and it also depends on your personal goals, your risk tolerance, and desired level of involvement. And I find that diversification across different assets is crucial to managing risks. Consulting with a financial advisor, which I am not, is highly recommended, and they can help to create a tailored investment strategy that works best for you and your goals by considering you as an investor and building a strategy to reach your long-term and short-term financial goals. Additionally, diversification in high-yield savings and money market accounts can offer safer income options as well, but they typically offer lower return. Be that as it may, get invested, start building passive income, and then we will see more comments like these from the happy people living in Florida saying, I've lived in Florida most of my life, I'll never move. Or, love it here in Orlando, and I'm in Sumter County. Florida is more than worth it. Sarah says, me too. I live in Ocala. And last but not least, I love Florida. Got a friend talking about moving there. And why? Well, that's easy. Because Florida beaches are beautiful. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. And if you want to connect and chat about Florida, business, money, finance, investing, whatever it may be, I'm going to drop a link in the description with a way to reach me. All right, guys, now I got to go and get back to enjoying this beautiful November Florida weather. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and continue to follow your dreams and nurture your passions. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something if your heart is telling you that you can. And I look forward to talking to you guys real soon.
Oh yeah, right down there.
I like this. I like this. I like when you're in Florida and you have to prepare for open house guests to show up on a boat.
I was looking at that. That was my first thought. How many are coming?